There, and that's how it all began. One afternoon in the desert, when God told me to go back to Egypt and set his people free. Of course I didn't want to go. I was wanted dead or alive in Egypt. But you know, the truth is, I was more concerned about what I wanted instead of God's will. But let me tell you, my brother, God has a way of convincing us when he needs to. See this rod? Well, he turned it into a snake right before my very eyes. He told me to pick the snake up by the tail, and when I did, it turned back into a rod. Then after that, he told me to place my hand inside my robe. I did so. And when I pulled my hand out, it was gnarled and white with leprosy. And then God healed me just as fast. That's when I used the age-old excuse that I can't speak in public. That's what got you involved in this, my brother. Because when I said that, God told me that you could go and be the spokesman. Well, my last defense was down. So I gathered up my wife Zipporah, our 2 children, Gershom and Eleazar. We went to Jethro, her father and high priest, and we said, goodbye. We are heading back to Egypt to set God's people free. Now, Aaron, we have made the trip and we're back in Egypt. Behold the majestic pyramids and the beautiful buildings. And over there, the temple of Opis, the sacred bull. I hope our people will be willing to leave this kind of majesty to follow a God of a burning bush. And now, Aaron, we find ourselves at the doorstep of Pharaoh's palace. Our time has come. Look, there he sits in his throne. Pharaoh! I told God I couldn't talk. And the whole crowd is laughing at me. I can't stand it. Look at those puny magicians of his. Pharaoh, let God's people go. You want to see a miracle? Fine. Watch this. God has turned my rod into a snake. Oh, your magicians can do the same thing. But look closely. God's snake is eating the snakes of your magician. Now, I'm telling you once more, Pharaoh, let God's people go. No? Well then, Pharaoh, you had best prepare yourself for the 10 plagues of Almighty God. First, the river Nile will turn to blood. And then out of that bloody river will come frogs. They will crawl up into your palace, even into your beds. Then the Spirit of God will move, and there will be gnats. Gnats everywhere. And after that, there will come flies. Filthy, disgusting flies all over the land of Egypt. A plague will come upon the cattle. Yes, and then festering boils will rise up on the men and the animals. And after that, Pharaoh, there will be thunder, lightning, hail, and then locusts will swarm upon the land. Locusts will come from every direction, north, south, east, and west. and cover the entire land and eat everything that is left that is alive. And finally, Pharaoh, a darkness will fall upon Egypt, darker than your worst nightmare. And then, at midnight, the firstborn sons of Egypt will die unless there is blood on the doorpost of the home. The angel of death will pass over only if it sees the blood of the Lamb